For the second part of 4.2, we are again going to be looking at how to write equations in slope-intercept form. Except this time, we are going to have a situation where we're given 2 points. So our example here is to write an equation that passes through the points 3, 1 and 2, 4. Again, for any kind of slope-intercept form equation, we want to have a slope and a y-intercept. In this case, we have neither. All we have are 2 points. So can we find the slope and y-intercept from 2 points? Well, let's start with slope. Can we find the slope from 2 points? Yes, we can. One way to do that is to simply plot our points. So we have 3, 1 and 2, 4. And then we can find the slope or the rise over the run between those 2 points. In this case, we're going down 3 and over 1. So our slope would be -3 over 1, or just -3. We saw in the last lesson that if we have a slope and 1 point, we can find the y-intercept and write our equation. So we could do the same thing here as well. If we didn't want to graph them every time, however, we can also use some algebra. So in this case, we now have 5 steps. Last lesson we had 4. We're adding 1 step. We're adding that finding the slope. So if we remember, algebraically to find our slope, it is the rise over the run. And we can do 2 points by simply finding the change in our y values, or y2 minus y1, divided by the change in the x's, or x2 minus x1. So once we have our slope, we can then do the same procedure as the last lesson. We'll plug in the slope into our equation, plug in the coordinates. In this case, we have 2 points we can choose from. All we have to do is plug in one of those coordinates. You can actually choose as well. Both coordinates will give you the exact same result. So choose the one that's the easiest as far as numbers. Maybe if there's a 0 in it or some negatives, you can avoid those. Then 4 is solve for b, and 5 is write the equation. So let's walk through this example to see what it looks like. So my first step is to find my slope. I'll use the algebraic method. And so I have my x1 and y1 and my x2 and y2. So I'll do 4 minus 1, my y2 minus my y1, divided by my x2, which is 2, minus 3. Simplifying that, 4 minus 1 is 3. And 2 minus 3 is -1, which results in a slope of -3, just like we saw with the graph earlier. So I found my slope now, and now I'll follow the same procedure as last time. I'll plug in my slope into my equation, so I get y is equal to -3x plus b. I will then plug in one of my coordinates, doesn't matter which one. I'll go ahead and pick 3, 1. So I'll have 1 for my y, it's equal to -3 times 3 plus b. I'll now have to solve for b. So I'll simplify here. I'll have 1 is equal to -9 plus b. Solve for b, and you isolate the variable. So I can have a -9 plus b. I'll add the -9 to both sides. I'll get 10 is equal to b. I found my b now, so I can write the equation. And my equation will end up being y equals my slope, which I found in the first step of -3, x, plus my b term I just found of 10.